Do you have any kind of like sort of, how do you go with the language of this piece? I mean, as I said, the Auden, the poetry is complicated oftentimes.
Yeah, it's beautiful, it's complicated, it's metaphoric, and they have to work at it. They have to work at finding meaning, just like today we were working on phrasing with Megway, and what came out of that, this sort of shaping of meaning that came out of it. I love it, and it's just, it's complicated language. You have to think about it. It's you know, they really have to think about the poetry of it and what it means.
I always think it's interesting to work on English for, well, you mentioned Megway, of course, who's not, her first language isn't English, but everybody else in the cast, first language is English. And to work in a piece that's in your native language, there's nowhere to hide.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is there are so many traps, because you can make assumptions that you know something because you know what the words are in a sort of modular way. But you have to not only really understand what to bring out syntactically, but to understand the poetic resonance and metaphor. And of course, I think in some ways, Megway excels because she doesn't take anything for granted. So she is, well, she has to think emotionally, she has to think specifically, she's thinking about grammar. So when you talk about word function, you know, you're really aware of it.
And a lot of times we're speaking to the other members of the cast, the Anglos in the cast, about their English, you know, how to make it understood, you know, because of course, the words are so much more sustained in singing opera. I mean, because the sound of the word is so important always, that there's sustained sounds, and you have to really examine how should I say this word? A word that you've never thought about before suddenly is, you know, it's a work of art in your mouth that you have to.
And I love that sculpting and shaping you're doing, because often singers, you know, because you're thinking of phrasing and legato and the beautiful drawing a musical line, you think in emotional chunks, you know, phrasal chunks, rather than getting the granular sense of the word. And today, the work you were doing with Chris was so fine, and shaping the sound was just really...
Well, he understands it.
He understands it.